Your dad was a very well-respected rugby league player, captain, coach for, what, a couple of decades around Wide Bay. Is that where footy came into your life?
And Mum, you know, so like Dad played in the Wide Bay region, you know, brought up in Hervey Bay, played a lot of footy in Bundaberg when he was a kid, you know, coached Maryborough, Wandai, we were out at Monto, Thangool Possums, God bless them, you know. But Mum's probably the better coach. You've asked her, but but she was one of those mums again that, you know, did all the laundry, did the tuck shops, you know, washed all the clothes, all that stuff, all those sort of things that, you know, really, she was very supportive of the whole rugby league scene, and, you know, I grew up in that. I was a sand boy and ball boy and mascot, and you asked me, and I mean, I did it, you know, so it was a great upbringing. I loved the game, and because of Mum and Dad, it's, you know, I'm very fortunate to be where I am today.
So was Mum really the secret behind the dynasty for the Maroons or the Kangaroos? is this what we're getting to?
Dad was an athlete, you know, so he played front row, but he could run 100 yards at even time. Mum come third in the Queensland Championships. I think she ran, you know, something like 12.3 in the Queensland Championships, you know, as a teenager. So she was very athletic as well. You know, played a lot of, you know, sport when she was a kid. So I guess I stole all those genetics off them both, really. You ask my brothers, you know, they got nothing, you know. So I just consumed it all. I was the eldest, all the food, all the genetics, you know, just consumed it all. Just
like your great-grandfather, he made a very bold decision to leave his home at such a young age as a teenager. You did as well, and you mentioned you joined the police academy at 15 years old. What did a very young Mal Meninga do in the capital of Queensland?
Oh, God.
And how did you find your sense of your role, your way as a young man?
Yeah, it was fairly traumatic. I remember it vividly, you know, so getting there on the first day, I knew nobody. And but I grew in confidence through sport, you know, so, you know, I played rugby league as a kid, but I didn't know how good I was until a big, stretchy senior constable come up to me and said to me, "Oh, you play rugby league, do you?" "Yeah, yes, Constable." And he sort of, as he was turning away, he said, "Oh, we'll see." That was my first adventure with Wayne Bennett. He was so instrumental in building my self-confidence, you know, because he said to me that, you know, I could be anything I want to be as long as I put my mind to it, and he's right. You know, it's all around that purpose and having a mindset that, you know, you want to succeed, you know, not be beaten. Put me on a goal setting, I still goal set today, you know. So those sort of things that he taught me in those early years, I still carry with me today.
So under the very, even in those days, the masterful guide of Wayne Bennett, you were able to then, yes, build a career, but also have rugby league as a pretty strong focus. When you started to ply your trade in the Brisbane Rugby League, these were pretty serious. It was a very serious era.
Lundy. Meninga. Thompson on the left, but Meninga will split them. He'll score. They won't stop him. And that's really the icing on the cake. And how happy is he over that? What a try.
There's champions, there's future immortals, and the quality of the footy was just raw, it was pure. It was pretty bloodthirsty at times.
Yeah, it was. It taught you to grow up.
Back to Lewis, then away to McWhirter. Klein, wrapped up by Astle and Meninga, thrown to the ground. Dumped to the ground, actually. He's hurt.
I was lucky enough to, you know, go straight into first grade for Brisbane South, you know, at sort of 18 years of age. But you have to toughen up pretty quick. It took me a while, honestly. It was scary.
There was a little bit of going in on the tackle. Look at this out wide here. Meninga and
Dutton.
Oh, that's as bad as I've seen in a grand final.
That's what happened in those days. You know, you get king hit, or you just play on, basically. You get tipped on your head, it was play on those days. Rugby league, to me, it's a competitive sport. I'm not saying you have to be a bully, but you've got to be really competitive, and you've got to beat the person on the other side of the field. And I learnt that in the BRL.
The big fella starting to stride out. Now he sends it back inside to Belcher. Belcher away to Meninga. Meninga over the top to Muller. Play on. And away back to Meninga. Meninga bustling for the corner, and he's in. The big fella using his power is over for the try. That's to Meninga, you know. Now back to Meninga and Crunch Shilosky. Crunch Scott Lewis. Down he goes in the corner.
You always had a presence, and that looks like it comes naturally, but maybe it's something you had to
I was very physical, Vonnie.
Yeah,
I was very physical, and I was I was pretty big, you know, in those times as well, you know. So, yeah, you get to learn to use your size.
He's looking for Meninga. He's got it to him. The big fella bumps Benson out of the way. Didn't he hit Benson then? Oh, Meninga really means business today. 15.5 stone of brute strength.
See you later, Big Artie.
Belcher. Meninga, there's the hole for Meninga to go through. He's charging up the common spot. He's looking for Thompson, decides to go himself. Oh, spot everybody there.
So strong, so smart, and that's what set you above, and that's how you were able to change the tone of games very early.
Dad was a smart player. He was, you know, captain, coach everywhere he went. He understood the game. I watched the game, you know, intensely. You know, I picked things up all the time, and then Wayne was such a smart individual, coach-wise, you know, learnt a lot.
You were starting to build a reputation very quickly. And I remember talking to Bobby McCarthy, and he said he called South straight away, South Sydney, when you're in the VRL, and said, I've got this kid, Mal Meninga, you're going to want to take a look at him. I know Easts came looking pretty early. Who else wanted to sign you in those early years when you were playing for Souths?
When I was at the academy, Dad and Mum, we met up with Harry Bath from the Dragons.
Yeah.
So I said to Dad and Mum afterwards, I said, I'm not going there because I'm going to play for Queensland. Seriously, this is 78. I was going to play for Queensland the next year.
Meninga with the bulging thighs.
Of course, there is some South Sea Island blood in Meninga. Way back, he said. He was born in Bundaberg. Only 18 years of age, Rex.
Strikes it. I think it's a goal.
You know what I remember about 79 and getting picked in the Queensland team? I remember Wayne come up to me and he said, congratulations, but I didn't think you deserved it.
Such a Wayne thing.
That's such a Wayne thing, you know. This day and age, you know, he did it for a purpose, eh? Because he wanted me to play well.